Okay, today's lesson is on time conversion, and I'm testing out a new way to do videos actually on my iPhone because I left my iPad at school. So it might be a little more messy on the other ones because I'm trying to do all this writing on this iPhone and I don't have a stylus either, so it might be a little clunky, but I think it'll work for today. So today's lesson is about time conversion. We did all the other kinds of conversions before, and all we're going to do this time is we're going to do some time conversions. It basically works the same as all the other ones. So let's take a little example. Let's say we want to convert 4 hours into minutes. That's the kind of thing we're going to do today. So we're going to do just like the other ones before. We're going to do our translation. We can do hours to minutes. So we're going to do it just like before. We're going to put the hours on the bottom and minutes on the top, so that way we can end up crossing out hours to minutes. But we have to figure out what is the conversion from hours to minutes. We know that 1 hour is 60 minutes. And that's something that I certainly hope we all already know. So now, what we do, like I said, is we're going to cross out those hours. And we have 4 and 60 on top, which means all we're going to do is multiply. So we're going to do 60 times 4, and we'll end up with 240 minutes, because minutes is what's left. So we have 4 hours is equal to 60 minutes. Or I'm sorry, not 60 minutes. Oops. Where's my little undo button? Still trying to figure all these out. 4 hours is equal to 240 minutes, like we just figured out up there. Notice I labeled it. Always make sure you label when we're doing conversions. Okay, let's try another one, and this one isn't going to be as smooth as the other one. Let's try doing... We're going to go backwards on this one. We're going to do 140 minutes into hours. So we're going to do just like we did before. We're going to do 140 minutes, and then our our conversion from hours to minutes, we want to put minutes on the bottom so it'll cross out. We'll put hours on the top, and that's an HRS. It's hard to make. Oh, yeah, this isn't going to get any better with what I've got here. Bean, stop it. Bean! Bean is acting a fool on my house right now. Sorry, I had to stop the video. She was about to break something. What a buffoon. Alright, so we have to put minutes on the bottom so that we can end up crossing them out. And our translation from minutes to hours is 1 hour is 60 minutes. Now, so what we're going to end up doing is crossing out the minutes. And since 140 is on the top and 60 is on the bottom, that means we have to divide 140 divided by 60. So this one's going to be a little bit different because it doesn't go in equally. Let me see if I can erase this on the top. Come on, let me erase. Oh, geez, here we go. So we're going to have 140 divided by 60. This really is a challenge. Now we're actually going to do this a little bit different than normal. We are not going to get a decimal on this. And the reason we're not going to get a decimal is because when you talk about time, if you have a little bit of time left, you're not going to say, for example, well, that's in 2.2 hours. You're going to say, that's in 2 hours and so minutes. So we're actually going to use, almost all the time in 6th grade, what we're going to do is we're going to use, when we do math problems like this, we're going to find a decimal. But this time we're going to go back and we're going to use remainders. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do it. So first thing we need to know, 60 goes into 140. Well, it goes 2 times, which is 120. And that's going to leave us 20 here. Now, normally what I would do is I would put a decimal here, and then I'd carry my zeros and figure out what the decimal is. But when we talk about time, we don't say, like I just said, we don't say 2 point something hours. Now, all this means is there's 20 minutes left over. So our answer is going to be that there are 140 minutes is equal to 2 hours, and then there's 20 left, so it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. So that's the only thing that changes as far as conversions. We do conversions just like normal, but instead of doing it with decimals, we're going to use that remainder to tell us how many minutes are left. let's do one more, and I want you to practice this one with me. Okay, the one I want you to practice with me is 80 hours. We're going to convert that into days. Now, I hope 6th graders, and I hope anyone watching the video that's doing this level of math, I hope we know how many hours there are in a day. So use your conversions like we normally do, and use hours to days conversion and what I just showed you, and give it a shot. Right now, I want you to pause and solve the problem. Okay, so we would put 80 hours here, put our hours there. Now, to cancel out, we're going to put the hours on the bottom, and we're going to put days on the top. And so, our translation, or I'm sorry, I keep saying translation, our conversion is 1 day is equal to 24 hours. That's an ugly 4, but it is a 4. So, well, since we have 80 on the top and 24 is on the bottom, what we're going to do is we're going to do 80 divided by 24. And this is what I just showed you before. So, we're going to do 80 divided by 24. So I know 24 is just really, this is mental math here. 24 is really close to 25. So 3 times 25 would be 75, and that's close to 80. We just take 3 away from that. So 24 goes into 80 3 times, which would be 72. Now, normally again, I would go into decimals most of the time when I'm doing division. But we don't say there are 3 days point so-and-so left. So what we're left with is 8. So what that means, that's the world's ugliest 8. So what that means is we have 3 days and 8 hours left over. So our answer would be 3 days and 8 hours. 80 hours is equal to 3 days and 8 hours. Okay, I'm just going to have you do one more, and then you're going to have to show me in class tomorrow. So practice this problem, and then bring it to class tomorrow. The problem is going to be 250 minutes to hours. So I hope we know how many minutes are in an hour. If you don't, hey, you can always Google it or look in your math book. But 250 minutes to hours. That's the problem you need to have done for tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow.